Welcome! In this episode I explore Studland Bay in Dorset and walk a bit of the southwest coastal path to Old Harry Rocks and get some good images at sunset, like this one. And share my thoughts on composing shots with multiple elements. I'm Simon Byrne, I'm a photographer and creative director, and this channel is all about sharing my travel and landscape experiences and maybe talking about how I shoot and, more importantly, why I shoot. Don't forget to subscribe and let's go on an adventure. Thanks for joining me. This afternoon we are in Studland on the Dorset Coast. Poole is, I'm guessing, 3 or 4 miles to the east, and Swanage is a few miles to the west. And I'm going to join the coastal path in a minute and walk along the top of the cliffs, which become very steep, very famous cliffs actually, because that's where we will find Old Harry Rocks, which, yeah, they've been photographed a million times before, but hey, I'm here, I've got a camera, may as well give it a go. Right now though, I'm going to try and make my way across this seaweed without slipping. The tide's out, which is pretty neat, because I might just be able to get some interesting shots of the rocks and the cliff face. We can actually, see them here. So the shot that I've framed up, we've got some interesting rocks in the foreground. There's a chalk cliff in the background, which is sort of interesting. The midground though, the midground is really boring. It's just dark seaweed and shade as well from the low sun cliffs. So what I need to do is take the camera lower so there's less of the midground, and we've just really got the rocks in the foreground and the cliffs in the background. This is probably the best composition I've got here at this point, so I'll give it a go. What a beautiful day. In fact, it's actually too beautiful. There are no clouds, so not necessarily going to be a good sunset then, is it? But that's fine. That's kind of an interesting coastline. There are lots of good compositions there to be had, but no time to check. The main goal here was to do some of the southwest coastal path along the cliff tops, because it's just a stunning place to walk, and the views up there, I mean, it's such a clear day. You can see Bournemouth across the bay, and I'm pretty sure, well, you can actually see, I'm not sure where that is, like that's way beyond Swanage. That's right down the Jurassic Coast. I would say that the walk from the car park in Studland to Old Harry's Rocks is probably about 1.5 miles. It's a fairly flat, even walk. Very easy to do actually. So while we're walking along, I'm going to talk to you about the gear that I typically take on a day like this when I'm doing some hiking and a bit of photography. The D750 Nikon, a really old but trusty 35-70 2.8 lens, a 24mm prime lens, which is equally as old, and a 70-300 4.5 to 5.6, which replaces my 80-200 2.8, which is just too big and heavy, because I also do carry my Mavic Pro and GoPro. But that's basically it. That's all I use. And today, in fact for the last week, I haven't used any filters either. I haven't taken any of my filters out with me. No reason, just don't always use them. I've got about 45 minutes before the sun sets. My intention is to shoot after the sun's gone down from facing east and do a long exposure in the blue hour. That was the idea anyway. So I better start moving fast and figure out where I'm going to take my shots, because I'm planning on taking 2 different shots. My first shot is going to be with my 24mm. I've got a nice shot framed up here with the foreground cliff with the grass, and the grass is catching the low rays of light and everything is golden glowing, which is nice. And just the top of Old Harry is caught by the lowering sun. It's actually quite windy here. It wasn't further back. There wasn't any wind, but now it's like, I always seem to get a lot of wind lately, I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, I don't want the grass and the foliage there blurred. I want to try and capture it quite sharp, so probably have to do about ISO 400. I'll give that a go first and focus stack this. I'm going to do a shot just with the foreground so I can get that nice and sharp and crisp, and then I'll probably lower the ISO and shoot the background, focus on the background and shoot something a little bit slower and blend the two. Well, the sun's gone down, and as suspected, no clouds, no drama. There's just a nice pink horizon developing, which I kind of like. I'm facing west and I've got these pinnacles. Old Harry is over there, but I'm more interested in these pinnacles here. I want the furthest pinnacle right between the two in the midground. So that's just something to bear in mind, is just moving over a couple of feet can make or break your composition. Now I've got the pinnacle in the background between the two in the midground. When you've got a bunch of elements like that and a couple of them just sort of touch, it just doesn't work, it doesn't feel right. So if you can space them out, then suddenly aesthetically it's just more pleasing. There were 3 things I didn't like about this composition: the pinnacles touching, those rocks sticking out there, and this small outcrop. By moving over just a few feet, the shot was simplified and works much better. I've got to move quickly because it's starting to get dark. I'm just framing up a shot here with the rocks and the cliff right on the right-hand edge of the frame, and just sky and sea for the majority of the frame. And you're probably going to be wondering, why on earth am I doing that? That doesn't look good. All will be revealed in an upcoming vlog, which is going to be about shooting images for commercial use as opposed to fine art use, and shooting images that have some saleability to them against those that don't. Now you're intrigued, aren't you? Thought you might be. About 20 minutes after sunset, I grabbed these 2 images. Then I waited towards the end of blue hour and got the 2 images that I had had in my mind from the beginning and had come to shoot. It's dark and cold. Time to pack up and go and get some dinner. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon. On the way back to the car, I noticed the bright full moon had started to rise, and I grabbed a bonus shot.